What's up, legends? I was just sitting here enjoying my Sunday night, having a look at the charts whilst also having an absolutely stunning view of the Dubai Palm and JBR. Let me show you that. It is such a delicious night, and I was just about to write my update for the guys in my Discord, and I got a lot to say. So I thought, why not just chuck this on a video and let's take a big picture view of what may happen this coming week ahead. I'm going to talk about this pattern that you're seeing on my screen right now and what that means potentially for the week ahead. So if you're new here, welcome. By the way, as I mentioned, I am filming this from my balcony, so I'm not really sure how the sound is going to be or if the breeze kind of affects my microphone, so I apologize for that, but hopefully we can still smash out a good enough video that gives you some high quality information. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you will know that we normally trade the smaller time frames. We normally look at the 1 hour, 15-minute time frame, and we're looking to profit off the small moves of Bitcoin on a daily basis. Every now and then I like to zoom out and take a big picture view to see if I can identify a macro trend, because this is going to help me with my smaller time frame trades as well. And it also helps me catch a Linda, which you may not have heard of on this channel, but a Linda in TTC terms is when you catch a trade that starts out as a day trade and the levels just keep feeding up and up and up in time frames and turns out to be a very large risk to reward trade. This here is an example of a Linda. We caught this breakout and we traded it all the way up until the March contracts ended. So we exited that one around here, entering at 15.7 and exiting at somewhere around 27, 28K. So that was a huge trade. And now there's a chance of another potentially huge trade coming up. May not happen this week because I am on the daily time frame. So this could be a couple of weeks away, but I'm looking to see if Bitcoin does follow this pattern throughout the next few weeks, because if it does, it's going to give me a very good idea of how to short-term trade this whilst waiting for the bigger breakout. So what I am showing you exactly here on this screen is you can see this W formation on the daily time frame, which is why we took our long position at around the 15.7K region. And we've definitely had a rise up through here, and this is our level 1 rise. We then had a pullback, and we then had another rise, which becomes our level 2 rise. And now we're in the process of creating this wedge type formation, which is not completed yet, but if it does continue to hold this wedge shape and maintain above this trend line right here, that's going to eventually create a third touch to the trend line, which will then give us our expected level 3 rise out of it. And the reason that I'm kind of paying attention to this is because of where the liquidation levels are. This level that I've marked out right here is a 3-month liquidation level at 25,400. And I'll show you that here on the heat maps. You can see here that this is the 3 months going over BitMEX, Bybit and Binance charts, and it is the brightest yellow on the chart that is closest to price, which is at 25,400. So it makes sense with such a high level of liquidity that the market maker will come for that at some point in time. Now there is another level down here at 22.6. So if we did come all the way down to that one, we're going to break the wedge and invalidate the pattern. We're also going to break the trend line because the 22.6 is all the way back down here. But even if we came into that area, it would still create a higher low, and it would just be a almost 100% recovery of this vector candle here. So I'm not ruling out 22.6 as a target, and if it did get there, I'd actually be fairly happy to buy for the long term at that level. But you know, just because there's liquidity there doesn't mean it's a guarantee we're going down there, because we've got this huge level here at 25,400, which makes a little bit more sense right now. However, we've got criteria that we have to meet. So when you're creating a wedge like this, you need to have this breakup, and then usually there's 5 touches within the wedge. So we've got touch number 1 that creates the top of the trend line, 2, 3, 4. We have not yet created this one here, this touch number 5. So this is kind of what I want to see happen this week, because if Bitcoin can bounce up from here and push up to touch that trend line one more time, it's going to take out 2 fairly high liquidation levels that we have above price, and they're sitting at 26 27,403 and 28,071. And so when I go to the liquidation heat map, you can see them here. The 28,071 is the top one, and then this blue one down here is the other one. There is also another one at 27,531, which is only a little bit higher. So if they came for any of those three, then that would just be a top trend line touch, which would give us the fifth if it rejected there. Now, the next criteria, once you have the 5 touches within a wedge like that, is if it's going to break to the upside, you wait for a higher low to form within the wedge. So if we do get a push up throughout this week into those liquidation levels, what I'd be looking for next is for a reversal to come down to give me a higher low within the wedge, which essentially would be a W formation. If we get that, then I'm going to expect that we're going to break the wedge next, and we're going to go back up into this top target here, which is between 31.2 to 34.2. And if we then break that, the next target is going to be up here at 36.5 to somewhere just under 40k. Now, I'm not saying all of that's going to happen in a week. This could be weeks, months away. You know, again, we're on the daily time frame, so talking about targets is very, very long term. However, we've got to meet this criteria first. And the other thing too is if we don't get that higher low that within that, it is possible that we come down for another touch. So it's going to look fairly bearish on the smaller time frames, because price is going to be so close to this 3-month liquidation level at 25,400 that it just kind of makes sense. And so as long as it's maintaining that shape, and if it does come down into this zone, it does remain above the trend line and all that sort of stuff, then I'm going to expect that this is still a chance to be a level 3 rise to come out of this whole thing. In addition to all of that, it would end up being a 200 EMA bounce as well. So I'm really, really kind of liking the way that this is setting up right now, but you always have to watch it day by day and see if at any point does this pattern get validated. But that's kind of what I'm looking for on a higher time frame. And what's going to invalidate that whole thought process, of course, is going to be if price can't get any higher than where it is now, or if it comes to these liquidation zones and instead it does something like this where it pushes up, takes these liquidations out and then comes down for that level. Of course, that's then going to be the short option. So that's why I'm hedged both ways at the moment. I'm actually already long and I'm already short, and I have been for weeks, to be honest with you, while price just bounces around in between both of my entries and like doesn't actually do anything. So I'm really just waiting to see which way it kind of breaks out of this zone. And I want the level 3 because it will be a completion of the entire model on the daily time frame, which doesn't happen often. But like I said, because it doesn't happen often, you always have to be looking for where the model breaks, because we are talking very high time frame stuff. So that's all I really wanted to talk about. I'll go into smaller time frame stuff when the new week starts, but if you are looking to trade all of this stuff, be sure to check out OKX. It is my preferred exchange. There is a link in the description of this video where you can unlock up to $30,000 in rewards by signing up using that link down below. And if you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, consider subscribing and also hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below. Are you seeing the same kind of pattern, or are you seeing this head and shoulders that is actually wrong? Because just before I let you go, I'll point out why it's wrong. So this is what people are calling a head and shoulder pattern right now that they think is a break to the downside. A head and shoulder, the right shoulder cannot be higher than the left shoulder. So this is not a valid head and shoulder. The right shoulder needs to be lower. So that's why I'm seeing it more as a potential wedge still forming. Again, not a confirmed wedge yet because we still need that one more touch, but it looks like it's in the process of forming, and it's more valid than the head and shoulder simply because this head and shoulder actually breaks the rules of a head and shoulder. So there you go, guys. Have an amazing week. I will catch you on the next one.